Thank you so much for this important question. It's actually one of the things that brings me to run for mayor. My job for the last 10 years was hosting visiting leaders from around the world who came to Portland to study that very thing, our green leadership. And what became clear to me after years of that storytelling with them was that there was a very big disconnect between the Portland brand, our role in the global marketplace, and the everyday lives of Portlanders, especially Black Portlanders. And so thinking through that, especially inspired by the People's Plan forwarded by PALF, is how can we make sure that our resources in the city are deployed not only for the benefit of Black Portlanders, but deployed at the discretion of Black Portlanders. So there are things like participatory budgeting, which I think will be important to implement with urgency. I've called for community-led planning processes. So in my housing plan, there's a concept, Minneapolis is leading on this in terms of how can we make sure that communities have the resources that they need to make the investments that they want. Community member organizations like Apano or Living Cully, for instance, are working in their neighborhoods to make critical investments. And how can we make sure that our city resources in the Planning Bureau, in the Development Bureau, in Prosper Portland, and the Housing Bureau are actually undergirding these processes and not making them more challenging. We can also look at how we can invest in community land trusts, access to ownership and control over the land, which ultimately is of the highest order when it comes to who has say over what works. So ownership is very important there. All of these things together will lead toward a city that has better outcomes, because we know that when things are led by the people most affected, then the solutions are actually the most appropriate for whatever challenge we're trying to face.